but the idea is to cause pain and chaos in the meantime. So I just got a text from a colleague that said that their governor, their state, is locked out of the Medicaid portal and the Head Start portal. So
we have to talk about this breaking news story, and it's so important that I even brought in Senator Schatz of Hawaii to talk about it with me, but we'll get to that in 1 minute. This reads, Trump admin orders federal funding freeze on all public loans, grants, and even more aid. And the implications of this are terrifying. A memo from the White House Budget Office is calling for a spending freeze on federal assistance by 5 p.m. Tuesday, which could affect everything from aid to nonprofits, universities, small business loans, state and local government grants, and much more. And the big takeaway from this is that this is a completely illegal move. You cannot just do this after Congress has already approved these grants. The freeze could have wide-ranging implications, with the White House noting that $3 trillion was spent in 2024 on federal assistance programs, and people will claim that this was government spending, it was all waste, and it was wasteful, and a lot of MAGA conservatives will try to paint all of this spending as harmful, all of this spending as wasteful, when a lot of it goes to Medicaid, a lot of it goes to programs that people rely on every single day. The senator and I will touch on that in 1 second, but this reads, quote, this memorandum requires federal agencies to identify and review all federal financial assistance programs and supporting activities consistent with the president's policies and requirements. But they then cited, quote, DEI, woke gender ideology, and the Green New Deal as policies they are specifically targeting. I thought it would be helpful to talk to somebody who, as I make this video, is currently trying to deal with this situation on the ground in DC. Senator Schatz of Hawaii decided to join me. Let's jump to it. I want to talk about the memo that came out of the White House Budget Office calling for a spending freeze on all federal assistance, or most federal assistance, by 5 p.m. today. Can you explain the implications of this to me?
Well, it's first of all, it's illegal. Like, it's just flat illegal. The Congress decides on spending, and then the executive branch is supposed to execute the laws that we pass. So it's illegal, and I do believe it'll be overturned in court. But the idea is to cause pain and chaos in the meantime. So I just got a text from a colleague that said that their governor, their state, is locked out of the Medicaid portal and the Head Start portal. So Medicaid is healthcare for the poor, and Head Start, of course, is for children entering kindergarten, pre-K. And those programs are shut down by 5 p.m. today. And so, we can have an argument about the size and the scope of the federal government, or, how much taxes we should collect from from different people. But this thing is like a full authoritarian move, and I think it'll get bounced in federal court within a couple of days. But in the meantime, we're trying to see whether there are Republicans who also agree that Congress should not be completely eviscerated. But in the meantime, lots and lots of people who receive federal grants, and this isn't just like, nonprofit grants. Grants are Medicaid, grants are nursing homes. Grants are public education. So this is a freeze on all federal spending except Social Security and a couple of other things. This is going to impact people like by the end of tomorrow. And so it'll backfire spectacularly. And I can tell you that Democrats are, to a person, pissed off and ready to take collective action. Because this happened late last night, I took a break from my meetings about this topic to do this with you. But we're deliberating on what next steps we're going to take together to push back on this.
And what evidence or reasoning, if any, has the admin provided to justify targeting? They said DEI, they said, quote, woke gender ideology, and I think Green New Deal policies. Is there any reasoning behind this, or is it just boogeyman?
I mean, look, they don't get to make policy in this space, right? That's the problem, is that the policy is the law already. It's whatever the Congress already passed. And so they don't get to say, hey, we're going to evaluate whether this lines up with Trump's priorities. That is already the law. If they want to change a law, they have to go and ask Congress to change a law. But this person clearly wants kingly powers, and I think that's where we have to push back.
Is his goal at the end of this to reallocate some of these funds that he froze towards his personal goals like deportations? Or I know that it's all illegal broadly, but what's the move? Like, what's his end goal there?
I have no idea what his end goal is. And, I think sometimes we spend too much time thinking about like what's he trying to accomplish. He's trying to create chaos. He's trying to fuck with people. He's trying to cause pain, and then he's trying to have a bunch of people sort of petition the king for mercy. And we're still a system of government with three co-equal branches, and we're about to exert ourselves.
Yeah, he also seems like he's just trying to test the outer limits of what he can do now that he's like his first week is almost done. I want to ask, how are state governments reacting, like those heavily reliant on federal grants? How do you
I
think?
mean, every single state is heavily reliant on federal grants. There's not like obviously some more than others, but like the difference is in the 10% range. Everybody needs Medicaid grants. Everybody needs for their nursing homes to stay open. Everybody relies on Head Start and public education. And so there's no state that's going to be immune for this. So I think the attorneys general, I think the governors, I think the mayors are having conference calls as we speak to figure out exactly how to push back against this. But this I think is going to receive a bipartisan uproar, and I do think it'll be bounced in federal court as quickly as they can put together a case, which could be today or it could be a few days.
Can I ask you, as far as FEMA, can you steelman the case for it at a time when Trump seems to be wanting to sign it away?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, like he doesn't get to do that. Like he's not going to eliminate FEMA by executive order. It's a it's an agency that exists in federal law, and he can't just go like, I don't like what they're doing, so now they don't exist. That's not the way our government works. So sometimes he's doing a thing and we need to push back on it because it's deadly serious. And sometimes he's just making a suggestion. And one of our techniques of pushback have to be like, he's not able to do that. He is not all powerful. And the Congress is not going to repeal the FEMA statute or the Stafford Act, which enables FEMA. But look, FEMA is the first on the ground for any disaster. And ask anyone in Florida or Louisiana or North Carolina or Hawaii, like they are essential. Could they improve? Of course they could improve. Every federal agency, every private sector company could improve their performance, but FEMA is the first on the ground and saves lives. And, in an era where we're having increasing severity and frequency of storms and natural disasters, FEMA is more important than ever, but we're not getting rid of FEMA.
I have one final question for you. So the memo from the White House says, quote, the use of federal resources to advance Marxist equity, transgenderism, and Green New Deal social engineering policies is a waste of taxpayer dollars. It does not improve the day-to-day lives of those we serve. Speaking of improving day-to-day lives and Trump's first week, if you could say one thing to him directly, if you were listening to this, what would you say to him?
I don't know. I don't like to appeal to the king. He's
Yeah.
not a king. We're co-equal branches of government. We're going to push back. He's going to lose in court, and the legislature, the Article One branch in the Constitution, is going to exert its will. And I'm not into making appeals to him. He won't listen to me, but I also don't. I reject the premise that what we all need to do is try to get him to make exceptions or think better of it. He's not going to make an exception on behalf of anybody I know or anybody I'm fighting for. And he's not going to think better of it. He never has.
Appreciate that. Thank you for your time, Senator.
Thank you.